getting TikTok famous right now. TikTok famous. What?
What started as an ordinary Friday afternoon in May became one of the deadliest tornado outbreaks in recent memory. Multiple EF4 tornadoes tore through Kentucky and Missouri, killing 27 people and leaving entire communities in ruins. This wasn't just one tornado. It was a violent swarm that brought entire counties to their knees. And 3 months later, the scars from May 16, 2025, are still healing. The numbers tell a devastating story. 27 lives lost across 2 states, over 115,000 people without power, more than 5,000 structures damaged or destroyed. But behind every statistic is a human story of survival, loss, and resilience. Governor Andy Beshear declared a state of emergency as Kentucky bore the brunt of the destruction, with 17 confirmed deaths in Laurel County alone. Missouri Governor Mike Parson mobilized the National Guard as St. Louis and surrounding areas faced unprecedented devastation. The National Weather Service confirmed multiple EF4 tornadoes, the second highest classification on the enhanced Fujita scale, with winds exceeding 200 miles per hour. These weren't just storms. They were atmospheric monsters that rewrote the landscape in minutes. May 16th started like any other spring day, but meteorologists knew something dangerous was brewing. A collision between warm, moist air surging up from the Gulf of Mexico and a fast-moving cold front descending from the Rockies created explosive atmospheric instability. The first reports came from Clayton, Missouri, a quiet suburb known for its tree-lined streets and peaceful neighborhoods. Residents described an eerie calm before the chaos. A survivor was working from her 1912 triple-brick home when she noticed the clouds forming. "I saw that the clouds were forming, and earlier in the day, they said the weather was going to be violently terrible," she recalled. What happened next would change her life forever. "There's a big sweet gum tree in front of my house that started swaying violently. I stood up and started backing away from the windows. As soon as we got in the hallway, all the other doors, this is on the second floor, shut, just like in the movie Carrie. Within seconds, the entire back of her century-old home was gone. The whole back of the house, first floor and second floor, are gone. There was a back porch that's also gone. The front of the house, all the windows were blown out. But Clayton was just the beginning. The tornado system moved east toward downtown St. Louis, then spawned additional tornadoes across the region. University City saw homes reduced to skeletal frames. Forest Park, a historic landmark, became a debris field. Even the St. Louis Zoo sustained visible damage, though miraculously, all animals and staff remained safe. The facility closed for the weekend as crews assessed the destruction. Meanwhile, 300 miles southeast, Kentucky was facing its own nightmare. A massive tornado tore through Laurel County late Friday night, creating what officials called a mass casualty event. The London Corbin Airport suffered significant damage, and entire rural communities were wiped off the map. Emergency crews worked through the night searching through piles of debris and mangled vehicles. The death toll in Kentucky would eventually reach 17, with dozens more injured and rushed to local hospitals. The tornadoes didn't just destroy homes, they crippled entire regional systems. Over 115,000 customers lost power across Missouri and Illinois, some for days. The Metrolink light rail system in St. Louis shut down major stretches due to debris and power loss. The storm system's reach extended far beyond the tornado paths. In central Illinois, dust storms created by high winds forced the closure of Interstates 55, 74, and 39 due to near-zero visibility. Illinois State Police warned of life-threatening driving conditions. The economic toll was staggering. Preliminary damage assessments suggested losses in the hundreds of millions of dollars. Over 5,000 structures were affected in Missouri alone. from single-family homes to major commercial buildings. But perhaps more significant than the physical destruction was the human impact. Entire neighborhoods that had stood for generations were reduced to rubble. Families lost not just their homes, but irreplaceable memories, photographs, and heirlooms accumulated over lifetimes. The ripple effects extended throughout the communities. Schools closed for days, not just for safety, but because many served as emergency shelters. Local businesses, already struggling in a challenging economy, faced additional hardships as customers dealt with their own recovery efforts. In rural Kentucky, the impact was particularly devastating. Farms that had been in families for generations were destroyed, barns were flattened, livestock killed, and entire seasons of crops wiped out in minutes. This outbreak wasn't happening in isolation. The United States typically sees about 1,000 tornadoes per year, but the intensity and clustering of violent tornadoes has been increasing. Climate scientists point to changing atmospheric patterns that create more volatile conditions. While not as extensive as the historic super outbreak of 1974 or the devastating 2011 season, the May 16th outbreak ranked among the deadliest single-day tornado events in recent years. The concentration of EF4 tornadoes in such a small geographic area was particularly unusual. The event also highlighted both the strengths and limitations of our tornado warning systems. The National Weather Service issued tornado warnings with lead times of 15 to 20 minutes in most areas, potentially saving hundreds of lives. However, the rapid intensification and multiple tornado development challenged even advanced forecasting capabilities. The destruction raised important questions about building standards and community preparedness. The 1912 brick home, built to last, couldn't withstand EF4 winds. Modern construction, while safer in many ways, often proved equally vulnerable to the most violent tornadoes. The response revealed both heroic individual actions and systemic challenges. First responders worked tirelessly, often putting their own lives at risk. However, the scale of destruction overwhelmed local resources, highlighting the need for better regional coordination and federal support mechanisms. 3 months later, the recovery continues. In St. Louis, many of the hardest-hit neighborhoods are still rebuilding. Construction crews work daily to clear debris, restore power infrastructure, and begin the long process of reconstruction. What's emerged most powerfully is the resilience of these communities. Neighbors who had never spoken became lifelines for each other. Volunteers from across the region poured in to help with cleanup efforts. Local businesses donated supplies and services to those in need. Federal disaster declarations brought FEMA assistance to both states, providing temporary housing, debris removal, and financial assistance for rebuilding. However, many residents report that the bureaucratic process has been slow and complicated, adding stress to already traumatized families. Memorial services have been held for the 27 victims, each representing not just a life lost, but families forever changed. Communities have come together to honor their memory while supporting survivors who face long roads to recovery. The outbreak has also spurred improvements in emergency preparedness. New warning systems are being tested, community shelters are being reinforced, and educational programs are helping residents better understand tornado risks and safety procedures. The tornadoes of May 16, 2025 remind us of nature's awesome power and our own vulnerability. In minutes, entire communities were transformed from thriving neighborhoods into disaster zones. 27 people lost their lives, thousands lost their homes, and entire regions faced the challenge of rebuilding from scratch. But this tragedy also revealed the best of human nature. In the face of unimaginable destruction, communities came together. Strangers became family. Heroes emerged from ordinary people who chose to help rather than simply survive. The recovery continues, and these communities still need our support. Most importantly, Use this as a reminder to prepare your own family and community. Have an emergency plan. Know where your safe spaces are. Stay informed about weather conditions. The next severe weather outbreak could happen anywhere, anytime. The scars from May 16th will take years to fully heal. But the spirit of these communities, their determination to rebuild, to support each other, and to emerge stronger, that's the real story here. That's what will endure long after the last piece of debris is cleared and the final home is rebuilt. If you found this coverage informative and want to stay updated on severe weather events, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest reports. And if this video helped you understand the scope and impact of this devastating outbreak, please give it a like. It really helps us reach more people with important news coverage like this. Thank you for watching, and stay safe out there.